Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of this simple game experiment I'm doing. And the reason I call it simple is because I'm hoping to not get too much into it. But if I do, that's okay, because I'm willing to just see how this goes. So, what this video is mostly going to be me setting up the lighting setup for the room and the materials too. Um, and I really haven't done this much before, so this is kind of an experiment. I mean, I've played with the light mapping stuff in Unity, but I haven't played with different kinds of lights and angles and stuff like that. So this is kind of a experiment. And at the end, we're gonna get into making or starting the camera setup. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to scripting just because that takes so long. That's gonna be episode 3. So as you already seen, I've set up some spotlights in the corner pointing at the table, and I'm currently setting up the computer screen. I did have an area light for the monitor, but I didn't really like it, so I changed it to just an emissive texture on the monitor. So I set up some spotlights in the hall because I thought hallways have, some hallways have those cool spotlights. I have a hallway at my house that has spotlights all the way down it, so I thought that would be cool. And here I'm adding the area light back in because the emissive texture wasn't emitting enough light. I wanted these bookshelves on the wall to kind of stand out, so I was adding light to those. And I was adding these lights. I thought it was a really interesting idea to make this room with fluorescent lights, so I made them kind of green and square and on the ceiling. That's actually something I've been going for in this whole scene, is to make all the lights different colors. And here I'm just tweaking all of the settings of like all the lights at once. Setting up the picture frame material and just changing all the wood colors because I thought they were too bright. So the table and the chairs and stuff. And here I'm using that UV texture that we unwrapped last episode to add picture. That picture came in the UI pack that I downloaded that's created by Unity, or the Unity Technologies. So it's free for everyone. Here I realized that the floor needed a different material, so I took a little time in selecting all of the floor and giving it a new material in Blender, saving it, and it auto updates in Unity. So nice. Here I think I was trying to figure out what was going on with my materials and just changing colors and stuff. Yeah. I think I actually have too many materials because when you first import, it creates all the materials, but if you change the import settings, it like creates a whole new batch of materials with a different name, so I have probably too many materials that I need to clean out. And you saw me there messing with the light mapping settings and like ambient occlusion stuff. And here I'm changing some of the settings on the camera model. I'm just getting it set up to be set up while I'm waiting for the light map to be finished. Just bringing some organization to the scene by adding some empty game objects to put everything under and naming everything. Because that's an important thing, especially when your project gets big, is to know what everything is called. I was having this problem where all the tables and chairs and basically all the decorations were like black. I don't know if I get to that here. It looks like I was adjusting some of the lights there, and here I'm adjusting ambient color, it looks like. So now I'm trying to fix the problem by UV unwrapping all of the objects, because I think that might be messing with how the light map can be mapped to them. But I'm being sure to avoid doing the monitor and the inside of the picture because I already UV unwrapped those how I wanted. And you can see that the light map is way better now that I've unwrapped those. But I think the scene is too bright overall, so I'm turning down the lights. I'm just going to hop over to Blender and UV unwrap the rest of the walls and the floor just to be sure. I'm adjusting settings everywhere at this stage. All of this was a lot of just changing different intensities of each light and tweaking a lot. That's a good word for it, tweaking. So now I'm just adding a few reflection probes. Um, I haven't played much around with them, and I don't really know how they work. So if they're messing up totally, that's fine with me. I just wanted to get some reflections on maybe the computer monitor and anything shiny I put in, which I don't know if I've made very many things shiny. So the probes might just be overkill and wasting processing time. I'm liking the way it's looking. I want it to be quite dark. It's not horror, but I do want it to be dark. So, except for these little stripes right here, I don't know how to fix those. Because I have a very limited knowledge of how this works. So, let's get to making the camera. Just inputting the mesh, and I'm turning off shading right now so that we can actually see what we're doing because the camera is completely black without it. Just adjusting the materials to get it look nice. And there's something shiny. Look at that, the lens. Making it a lot smaller because I noticed how huge it is compared to the set. So this is just adjusting the mesh, and that doesn't matter very much since we're not really gonna see it, but I don't know. I like to go the distance. Now let's add a camera. There we go, and it's facing the wrong direction. It's kind of silly. Parenting the mesh to the camera, I want to flip the mesh around so it's facing the right direction. Even though I wonder if I should have the camera under the mesh, because I want to have the mesh controlling the angle of the camera. So we actually need to flip the camera around and position it somewhere along there in the center. Something like that. And here I'm just adding a little bit more structure. I want the mesh to be under another object so that it's not just a plain mesh, because meshes imported from Blender are rotated at 90 degrees natively, and so that causes problems sometimes in scripting. And I'm still trying to figure out my hierarchy. And placing it on top of the computer. That is really big, so let's make that smaller. I don't think I've hit the apply button yet. I should remember to do that more often. I think we're pretty close to done here. It still has those marks on the floor, and here I'll hit apply. I'll probably fix those off camera.